Today, theories of love. Stay tuned. Today, I want to give you guys an overview of some of the ways that people have tried to explain love. Explanations are sometimes, in science, called theories. That's all a theory is. It's an explanation of something. And so I want to give you several theories of love that have been influential to various degrees over the years. And so we'll start by talking about a guy named Sternberg. Robert Sternberg has had a long and successful career, and he's made a number of different theoretical contributions to psychology. One of them is what they call the triangular theory of love. And the idea is, if you picture a triangle, on one point of the triangle you have passion. On another point of the triangle you have intimacy. And on another point of the triangle you have commitment. So passion, intimacy, and commitment. And according to the idea, the theory, the different combinations of these three elements tell you about different kinds of love that you can describe. So if you have passion but no intimacy or commitment, that's like a fling, right? If you have commitment but no intimacy or passion, and you could go all the different combinations, and all of them supposedly have a different kind of love that they tell you about. Now, honestly, I'm not really so sure why this is such a popular idea, other than it's easy to remember and relatable, at least on the surface. But I don't know that it's given much of value scientifically. But maybe I'm wrong. There may be some experts out there who could really sell this theory. But so far, I'm not convinced. See, what I know about Sternberg is that he has something of a triangle fetish. And so he also produced the triarchic theory of intelligence, which also has, you guessed it, 3 parts, and some other triangular things. And he was really good at writing books about these things and selling books and capturing people's attention. But I think he just liked triangles. Here's where I have a problem. Theories like this that involve sort of coming up with an idea and then trying to find evidence for it involve too much armchair and not enough evidence. Right? There's a big difference between having data in search of an explanation and an explanation in search of data. Right? So, for example, how do we know that those 3 components are the only 3 components that might contribute? And what would happen if you discovered a 4th? You can't have a square of love. Right? I don't know how that would be incorporated into this system. And by creating the triarchic theory without using data to drive the creation of the hypothesis, of the theory, it opens the opportunity to miss some possible variables that might need to be included. So I'm not a huge fan of this idea, but it's so influential, it would be hard for me to not mention it. Another idea, and I have to admit, even though you'll see it's imperfect, I understand what they were trying to do, and I appreciate it. And that's the idea that behaviorists came up with. This is the idea of reinforcement. So the idea that behavioral reinforcement provides the answers to why we experience love. Right? And the idea starts with biological needs. We have things that we need, and we have biological drives that cause us to fulfill those needs. And when we do that, we become happier, and when we can't meet our needs, we become upset. So, why do we experience love? Well, think about your mother. What does she provide for you? Well, when you're an infant, she's the source of all food and other rewards. And so, why do we love our mothers? It's because we become associated with your mother becomes a stimulus that's associated with food, right? Likewise, you can extend this to say, well, you get all kinds of needs met by being around another person. You eat food together, you may have sex, right? All these different rewards in the environment cause you to associate that person with good things, and that's what love is, according to this idea. It's a little bit limited. From this perspective, if you give somebody enough gifts and candy, maybe they should eventually fall in love with you, which doesn't work. The next theory is cognitive theories. And cognitive theories focus on resolving cognitive dissonance. Right? Cognitive dissonance is the idea that when your actions don't match your thoughts, that causes dissonance, or it causes an imbalance of sorts, and you have to sort of either change your actions or change your thoughts so that they become harmonious. And if you are spending a lot of time and resources on a certain person, right? If you're working really hard to get someone to like you, if you're working for it, therefore you must like it, right? So in order to resolve the cognitive dissonance of I'm expending effort here, why would I expend the effort unless I liked it? So you change your thoughts to match your actions. Believe it or not, there's some studies to back up this kind of thinking. So when you find someone who likes you, you tend to find them more attractive than if you didn't know or didn't think that they liked you. Another theory, evolutionary theory. The emphasis in evolutionary theory is on the idea of mate choice, and the focus is on passing on healthy genes. So why do we find some people attractive and others unattractive? Why do we like facial symmetry, right? Why are there certain body features that we like on men and women? Well, all of those things can be explained in terms of reproductive fitness, right? So symmetrical people tend to have fewer parasites. Males that have a strong jawline tend to have higher testosterone, which is associated with several different reproductive fitness measures. Right? Women who have a certain waist-to-hip ratio and large breasts tend to be associated with higher reproductive fitness as well. And there's a lot you can tell about a woman's reproductive status by looking at the waist-to-hip ratio, so the story goes. And so that's an extremely salient feature for people who are engaging in mate choice. So, these physical characteristics can tell you about, maybe we would be choosing mates based on their health, based on their intelligence, based on their attractiveness, which is a proxy for their health and intelligence and otherwise their fitness. Now, while these trends might be true over evolutionary time, and certainly selective pressures have had an influence on the kinds of things we find attractive, keep in mind there's a lot of room for cultural influence here. And, there's the cultural norms have a lot of sway over what we find physically attractive and how we choose our mates and sort our mates. Now, on a personal note, I knew a guy in school who looked like a bug, but he managed to find a mate and make a bunch of little bug babies. So where was Darwin on that one? Okay, the last theory I want to talk about is physiological arousal, the misattribution of arousal, and the two-factor theory of love. And I would love to talk about that right now, but I've already made another video focusing just on the two-factor theory of love and misattribution of arousal. And so I'm going to put a link to that video right here. and feel free to watch it, check it out. Okay, that's all for now, and I will see you next time.